Templeton sagged back in his chair as he heaved an exasperated sigh.
I don't know what there is to talk about, Cora. I already took your report. We both know this isn't the first time your Aunt Lavender has gone off on some adventure.
I took a moment to tamp down a swell of impatience. She's not on an adventure, Sheriff.
Yeah,
Selene interjected.
Whatever brain cells you haven't drowned in Pabst Blue Ribbon better listen up. I saw a masked intruder carrying Lavender out of her house. She was kidnapped.
Templeton's eyes rolled to the ceiling.
Oh, good grief. The testimony of an elderly cat admittedly under the influence.
My lips pursed. I hardly think you could say she was under the influence, Sheriff. It was a memory candle, not hallucinogenic drugs. The sheriff flapped a meaty hand.
All right, fine. But my point is there's no sign of foul play at her house. No one has called or left a note asking for a ransom to get her back. And as far as either of you know, she didn't have any enemies who would want to hurt her. So, Cora, what exactly is it you would like me and my deputies to do?
It was a fair question, I supposed, although perhaps not one meant for me. After all, I wasn't a trained detective. Why was it my job to come up with an idea of what steps to take in a police investigation? She's been missing for 2 months, I continued. We're all just worried about her, sir. Templeton braced his elbows on the table.
Have you thought about putting up reward money?
I bit the insides of my cheeks to keep from screaming. How is that his best solution? I don't know. I suppose I could speak with my mother about it. Selene's chest vibrated against my shoulder as she released a low growl.
What does the city even pay you for? Does Warden Quinton know you spend your afternoons here in a dark tavern slurping up booze and telling old fish tales while you're supposed to be doing your job?
That seemed to sober up the grizzled sheriff. He sat up a little straighter in his seat and dropped his elbows off the table's edge.
I'll send my deputies back to Lavender's house to keep looking for clues and see about scraping together some reward money before we open a tip line. How's that?
Sounds like the bare minimum,
Selene replied. It's a start, I quickly interjected. Thank you. I turned my back on the sheriff and his pals. Selene fell silent until we stepped back outside into the bright sunlight.
A third nipple would be more useful than that man,
the cat muttered darkly as I placed her on the sidewalk. I shook my head, unsure of what to do. My muscles were coiled up, ready to spring into action, but there wasn't any to take. Ever since we discovered Aunt Lavender wasn't on one of her treasure hunts and had instead been abducted, I'd had a tightness in my chest, a rising anxiety that never seemed to fully dissipate. It ebbed slightly when we were busy looking for clues, but after 2 weeks of searching, we were out of leads. My lips twisted to one side as I ran through the past weeks of searching. You'd think more people would be worried about Lavender, I said after a long moment.
Let's face facts, Cora. Lavender isn't exactly the most well-liked witch in Winterspell. She's not the type of witch who likes to make small talk in line at the market or bake cookies for the new neighbors. She keeps to herself, and saying she's socially awkward would be something of an understatement.
I frowned. Aunt Lavender is eccentric, for sure, but I don't think people actively disliked her.
A lot of folks thought she was nuts. Off her rocker. One sandwich short of a picnic. Bats in the belfry.
Okay, I get the point, Selene. The pint-sized gray cat stretched her back into a languid arch, the way only felines can.
And if they didn't think she was crazy, they still found her to be, well, borderline creepy. I mean, what would you think if you caught your neighbor rooting through all the trash bins on a regular basis?
I blinked. She'd do that?
Oh, yes. Your aunt took the whole one man's trash is another man's treasure thing a little too seriously,
Selene replied with an indignant sniff.
She didn't mind getting her hands dirty if she thought she might find some kind of trinket or bauble for her never-ending collection.
Yikes. I exhaled slowly as I scanned the street. Summer had ended, and Winterspell was in something of a slump as the season